And if you haven't tried this bank, it's kind of like a gem, honestly. And then after that, we move down to G, and we're gonna play G down here, and then one octave up right here. And then the melody, like the top line melody, is gonna be B flat down to A. And then we'll go back to the first chord. And then for the string, it's real simple. We're gonna hit F, we're gonna go down to E, because those notes are right next to each other in the scale. Then we're gonna go up to hit that B flat again, and then we're gonna hit A. It's gonna go like this. So once I added those strings to the piano, I knew I just wanted to get like a bell. And if you haven't tried this bank, it's kind of like a gem, honestly. It's this particles bank inside of Arcade, and it has a bunch of different like textures and sounds that you could just add in the background, and it kind of just takes like your melodies to the next level. But I found like this crazy bell inside of it. So I'm gonna go over that real quick, and then we'll go over all the effects and processing. And at this time of adding it, I still wasn't even trying to make like a drill beat. If you've watched my channel, you know that I don't have any drill tutorials. Like, this is probably the first drill beat I've ever finished. I might have made like one or two in the past, so I was really trying to make like a Memphis beat. But yeah, let's go ahead, get into this, and then I'll explain how this ended up turning into a drill beat. And this sounds kind of what took it to the next level, because I just found it by messing around. A lot of these are kind of like just kind of cool texture pads and like vocals and whatnot inside of this one. But when I hit this one, I was like, oh yeah, watch. When I play it all together, when that part comes in, it sounds crazy. So right there, I was ready to add the drums, but the part that switched it all was when I got to the hi-hats. But let me go ahead and show you what is on all of these. So the piano is just the Gentleman from Contact, and let me show you without processing and then with, and I'll show you exactly what I use too, because you could really get this piano to sound nice. So here's by itself with the effects. So we got some EQ, cut out some lows, a little bit of that low mid, real big reverb, and then some RC20. And this is just doing a little bit of distortion, adding a little bit of crunch. As you can see, nothing crazy. It just kind of adds like a little bit of aggression to the piano. I think the strings are actually routed to the exact same thing. Sometimes when I'm making beats, I'll just throw them in, but I guess for this one, when I mixed it down, I never separated it. And then we have the bell. The bell by itself sounded pretty good. All I did was add a little bit of reverb to it. Again, a pretty big reverb, 4 seconds. That's a pretty big tail on that reverb. And then a little bit of EQ cutting out the low end. Then I went and I started on the hi-hat, and let me turn off the thing that ended up turning this into a drill beat, which was this delay. So all I did for this was wanted to add like a nice little bounce to it, right? And that's really simple to do. So let's just delete that and let's just start it over. So again, like I said, we're in cell right there. So we're gonna place one here, and then we're gonna go here. And on this part, we're gonna count over 1, 2, 3, or you can count over 4 if you 1, 2, 3, 4. And that right here is gonna start giving us that bounce. And then we're gonna put another like double right here pretty much. And that kind of just repeats if we go over here like that, and you can add little things in between. So then you can go in there and add a few more. So I was doing that, I'm adding all that in, right? And then I'm like, all right, cool. A delay would sound pretty cool on this. Again, I'm still not thinking, I'm not even like thinking like, oh, this kind of has a drill bounce to it. So then I put this delay on it, which is a quarter note delay. You can see right here, feedback's real low, and this is only at like 11%. It's timed in, it's not even doing a ping pong. But right when I added this, it gave me like a drill bounce. I'm like, gotta make a drill beat with this. So that's what took it. And honestly, you don't need to use delays for your drill beats, whatever. You could do the hi-hats yourself. I'm just explaining like how I went from trying to make something else into making a whole different type of beat. So all we're gonna need to do is add in a snare. The snare is gonna be placed on the 3 and the 8, which is different, but that's gonna give you that bounce. So we're in cell, right? You could do this right inside of here too. We could hit you just skip over. So we have 1, 2, 3. We could place it there, right? And then 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then there you see it's the same as in the piano roll. It's on the 3 and the 8, and I'm just counting off, skipping, you know, the first gray note, then red. So this is 1, 2. So boom, hit it on the 3 and the 8, and then you start to get that drill sound on your snare. So we could count it out: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Follows a metronome. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2. If you want to count it like that, so that you can kind of get the rhythm down. But yeah, just 3 and 8, and then I layered that with another snare. Real simple, right? And then we get into, I think I put the open hat next, and the open hat is just hitting on the downbeats, the 1, the 3, the 5, and the 7. You want an aggressive hi-hat that can just nicely layer. I feel like every step of the way, you kind of just want to make sure that it's sounding right. Because if I would have added like maybe like a little soft hi-hat for this, it wouldn't sound too good. Because the strings, like I like to think of everything in the beat, like the strings are kind of swelling up and dropping out, and they kind of sound aggressive. I went hard on the velocity, so the string sounds like it's being played hard. I want to have like an open hat that kind of accents that. That's just kind of how I think when I'm making beats. Then I went on Splice and got this sound that's in a lot of drill beats. It has a nice delay on it. I synced it up, added it in, and we get this. And that has just a little bit of EQ. I just cut out a little bit of high end. There's really nothing crazy going on there. And then we get into the 808, which is the best part of this, and the kick last. But let's go ahead and break down the 808. So to keep this simple, I had 2 root notes. If you remember, I started on D and then I went down to G, but in the 808, I'm moving it up because instead of, if I went down, it would have sounded crazy. But first things first, you want to find a nice 808. This is what this 808 sounds like. So it's like a pretty long 808. It has like some grit to it, but it's still like just kind of beefy and not too crazy. Really depends. For me, I thought this one fit. It sounded cool. So I went ahead and layered my root note, what I played on the chords, right? And that's gonna hit here, here, and here. I like to do the slides, and you hear the slides done a lot at like the end of the bars. I didn't do too many slides for this. I'm over here saying I like to do, like I make a bunch of drill beats. So let me play this and I'll explain the slides. Those are the slides. So you can go real crazy with the slides. You can just do a couple. It's whatever you want to do, honestly. For this, I felt like a couple was cool. I wanted the melodies to kind of be the main front, those strings and everything. And then when we get to the end, you see that I'm hitting the root again, but then I'm doing these slide ups right here. And if you remember earlier, I talked about those 2 notes that I was keeping close together when I was going from F to E. And then you can see over here, I went from G to A, just like I did in the melody, and that really helps out keep everything kind of together, sounding right. So that's kind of how I like to think of my slides. And then we just place the root, and then we slide up to F. So to do that, all you need to do is hit a note, double click, and then hit accept, and then you see there's like that little triangle gets added here, and now it's a slide note. As a good thing to do to get it to sound right though, is to have one of your bottom notes hit so they slide up from there. So let's go ahead and try this. And we could go something like this. We can even slide, like, you could slide, let me just do like a random one. Let's go like that. Right? So you could do that, but imagine we had one of these notes hitting right here, so it starts again pretty much at like the foundation. Right? Compared to this. So it just depends what you want. And then we hit G to A, kind of like we did with the melody, with a little slide over here that hits that very first root note of D again, and it just sounded cool. That one's up a couple octaves. What is that? That's like from the original 1, 2, 3 or 4. And the faster you put these slides, the faster they slide. Let me show you real quick. So you see, we could go like, this is how it sounds right now. Can make it faster. longer. We could do all different types of things, whatever. You could just get creative with it, make it sound good. I wanted to keep this one a little bit simple. Then after that, we get into the kick. The kick's pretty simple. It's just gonna hit a few times an accent. So I'm gonna just play that so you can see it. And it's really hitting on the 1, the 3, the 5, and the 7 with these 2 notes adding extra. Another thing you need to do, throw that soft clipper on your master track and just push the kick into it. I think I'm going probably into the soft clipper by like 10 dB on this kick, but it hits extremely hard and it just sounds good. Let's hear it. Drill beats just have so much bounce. I could have put a kick right here. Let's try it. But I'll let the 808, wow, that was really close to the mic. I'm gonna let the 808 do its thing here, as well as the snare, and then this kick accents right before it. And I didn't add any perks. I kind of left this one like a little simple. Like I said from the beginning, I wasn't even trying to make like a drill beat, but then like once I put that delay on the hat, I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna definitely make a drill beat out of this. And I left it. I didn't add too much to it. I think it sounded good. I didn't want to overdo it. But yeah, if you guys want to see me do more drill tutorials, especially from scratch, I had to do this one because I thought this beat came out crazy. I posted on Instagram and everyone was telling me they liked it. So I was like, cool, I'm gonna make a video on it. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below if I should do more drill tutorials, because I don't even have one on the channel. This is the first one. Let's hear the full beat now. That little thing that's in the background of arcade sounds crazy, that string.